is Will and Estates lawyer Les Kotzer. And it's good to have you with us because who wants to talk about this? Nobody.
It's very important.
It's so important. Tell us
Well,
why.
I'll tell you something. Family, to me, is our greatest asset. My mother always said, she passed away, but she said her greatest gems were not in the bank. They were in the faces of her children. Mm-hmm. And my law practice is dedicated to not just saving taxes, but saving families when I draft wills. And I'm seeing horrific things happening. I'm seeing families destroyed, brothers and sisters who don't talk to each other after mom and dad have passed away.
Wow.
How would you feel if you get a call? Next time you speak to my sister, please tell her how much I hate her. Or don't call him my brother, call him my mother's other child. It's because the parents planted the seeds of the destruction of their own family. And by not doing the will, not updating their will, and not proper planning.
So your book is called The Will's Lawyers. There's stories of money, inheritance, greed, family, and betrayal. It sounds like Dynasty.
Well,
but it tells you that, yeah, there's number crunching. It is so emotional.
Well, the book takes you behind my closed doors. I don't think there's ever been a book like this. This is the fourth book I've written. And it takes you behind my closed doors to see what really goes on in families. Stories that'll shock you, stories that'll touch your heart, and stories that'll make you laugh, but stories that will also teach you. So you'll learn from this book what I see, what went wrong. There's a chapter in there about mistakes we found in wills, because I do free will reviews. People come into my office, and I will look at their will and their documents for free, power of attorney, and I find a lot of mistakes. So I publish this in the book, some of the ticking time bombs I found in wills. So before you go to your lawyer to make your will, read this, and I think you'll
Give me one of them.
Well, for example, I leave my house on John Street to my brother. But they don't live on John Street anymore. They live on Yonge Street, so he won't get the house. Oh. So there's many ticking time bombs.
You have to keep checking it.
And also, there's a clause that I put into every will. If I were to ask your viewers, how many of them would want their son-in-law or daughter-in-law to benefit from their estate if they divorce their child after they die? Mm-hmm. I bet you nobody would put their hands up. Mm-hmm. Well, every will that I do, I put a clause in to make sure that your son-in-law or daughter-in-law, if they divorce your child after they inherit your money, they can't touch anything they've inherited, or money made from the money they can't even touch. So that's not in a lot of wills that I review. So there's a lot of things you need to know. And marriage revokes a will. In our jurisdiction, if you get married, you no longer have a will.
Well, better get a new will.
Separation doesn't revoke a will.
Yeah.
And young people, I don't understand how young people with young children don't make a will. Because if you don't make a will, who's your guardian for your child?
Yeah.
Who's going to raise your kids?
That's part of the will.
There could be a custody battle between your parents and her parents over who's going to look after the child.
So my next question is, how old, at what age should we make and create a will?
Well, anybody over the age of majority. But of course, young people don't do it. But usually when you get married, you start having children, that's when you do it. You need to think about a trust for your child. Do you want the child to get everything at 18? If you die without a will, everything goes to the child at 18. We can set it up where you maybe expand that to 25, 30, etc. Mm-hmm. In my practice, my daughter is actually a lawyer. I'm very proud of her. She does wills, and she does wills for young couples. So a lot of people don't do that. So she focuses on.
Is it costly to do that?
Well, I charge for a couple usually around $9.75 for a pair of wills. I don't do hourly rates. I block fees so they know they come in. That's it. Of course, that's not for heavily complicated documents.
No, right.
But my daughter charges $800 for a pair of wills because everybody needs their own will. You don't make one will for two people.
Okay, very good. How about that? You guys are worried now, aren't you? You're all going to go home with his book, the latest book, The Will's Lawyers. Great story. So nice to have you. We have to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, love.